Well, welcome back to another day with Coffee with Joy. I'm your host, Joy, as we bring in my guest, Michae, as we talk about it's in the eye of the beholder. Have you ever been in front of a photographer who has yet to even present the artistic work of what you do, or a photographer who just point and shoot? Well, I have a photographer who goes beyond and beyond that and more. So after these messages, I will be talking to a great photographer, Michae, and he's going to talk all about the expertise of photography. So stay tuned.
Our mission focuses on showcasing local and global talent of all ages on and off the field. We will strive to inspire, educate, and bridge the divides through our media collaboration. Our goal is to give student athletes and coaches the platform to let their talents be seen and a platform for the community to let their voices be heard. This is the Union Media Group.
Say, as we talk about photography, it's in the eye of the beholder. So let's welcome my guest, Michae. Yes, Michae. So he's coming on. So Michae, tell the people a little bit about yourself. And again, welcome to Coffee with Joy.
Thank you, Joy. I really appreciate you having me. So yes, my name is Michae Allen. I am lead photographer of A Sharp Photo, and my niche, my specialty, is working with plus size women, curvy models, curvy women, and a lot of that is because I was thinking about it today, right? You're on a show, you're like, okay, what do I say that actually makes
Right.
sense? And I was thinking about, so one, I'm an artist. I like to create art. But two, like I have three younger sisters. So like I'm just inherently a big brother. And I
Right.
like for people to be taken care of,
Right.
and I've been in multiple situations and talked with, multiple, women in the plus size community who say they have difficulty connecting with photographers who either want to shoot them or have the ability or the know how to shoot them correctly. And I think, yes, I like what I see. I like what I can
Hmm.
create with what I see, but I also like the opportunity to provide for people that maybe other people don't.
Wow. Now, how you got into so what I know you stated that you have, three younger sisters and you love to create. So what made you finalize that you would like to photography plus size women? Because a lot of people stray from that. They don't know how to bring the artistic out of the woman's beauty. They just point and shoot. So when did you come to the point where you decided that this is my niche? I want to, create art with plus size women.
So I was actually, when I started, I did a work with straight size models and a lot of work, like a lot of actor headshots. And those are two different things, right? You're working with models, there's more of the fashion aspect, and you got a little bit more leeway. You can paint a little bit more, reconstruct.
Hmm.
Whereas when you're working with actors, you want to present them as they are. So I think those
Right.
two sides kind of came together for me so that I'm like, okay, yes, I can get in Photoshop and make some magic, but I can also make sure that the people are presented as they are. So it's funny sometimes when I work with people, it's like, can you do more Photoshop? And I'm like, right. This is what other people want. It's just not what I tend to do, you know. But
Right, right.
so that was kind of my journey. That's where I was, and someone invited me to photograph a plus size fashion show, and I was like, well, all right, you know, I'll shoot anything at that time. I hadn't done it
Right.
before, and I did it, and I loved it, and I didn't know I would, you know.
Mm.
And the more I worked with people and heard about their difficulties and how they were treated, like for instance, there's this photography group that I'm a part of in Central Florida, and a lot of
Uh-huh.
my plus size friends.
Uh-oh, hold on. I'm sorry. Sorry about
All
that.
good,
It's a
all
glitch.
good, all good.
No
But
worries.
yeah,
Go
I'm
ahead.
in this photography group in Central Florida, and a lot of my plus size friends won't attend the events because a lot of the photographers won't take pictures of them, and I just think that's
Mm.
horrible, you know. So it's like
Right, right.
I love that I can bridge that gap.
So why do you think a lot of photographers don't like shooting plus size women?
There's, I mean, you know, if you think about it, it really doesn't make sense. But there's this idealized woman that is not the typical woman, which is what we
Right,
see.
right.
You know what I mean? In magazines, size zeros, size two, and no hate. If you were two,
Yeah,
be a two, all good. But the fact that that's a minority of people, and more
right.
people are either average, quote unquote, size or larger than average, the fact that those people aren't shown, you know, so somebody, I don't know who it is, you know, the man
Yeah.
has this stranglehold on what we see. So because of that,
Yeah.
a lot of people, they're taught that this is not beautiful. So since they're taught
Right.
that, that's what they react to, you know.
And I definitely do find it sad, very, discouraging at some point because, bodies are just bodies. God made everybody in his
Right.
perfect image. So I don't see why a
Yeah.
woman, why won't you take a picture of a plus size person? Because I'm not just going to say women, because, there's plus size men. But I
Yeah.
truly believe some people just can't bring the art out of plus size, because again, is really because I see that a lot of men somewhat fetishize, has this fetish of what plus size woman
True.
that, they really
True.
can't bring the art out. So it's kind of like you're selling sex and not the actual garment, or bringing the plus size woman out to be that enriched model that she or he is, and
True.
some photographers
True.
just can't do it. So instead of learning, I just take the back end and say, you know what? Mm, I'm not even going to shoot that. Now, as being a plus size, as you say, a plus size photographer, I noticed that, on mainly on like on fashion shows, they don't really have a lot of plus size women, like, Miami Fashion Swim Week, and as I watch and I,
Hmm.
research, they don't have a lot of plus size women. Now, in your encounter, as you shoot, as you're taking pictures, have they ever, did like a model call and ever picked up a plus size model, or was that they were shy, the industry itself was just, shy against it? What was your encounter with that?
Well, it's funny. So you say Miami Swim Week does not have plus size model. The first image you showed was
Hmm.
actually somebody that I work with who designs swimwear, and I think she was the first, and I don't want to misquote, but Nina
Uh-huh.
Sheree. She has a line, and she was one of the first to have a plus size model, a plus size swimwear line at Miami Swim Week. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So, I'm glad I get to work with her. She's down here in South Florida, and here's the thing, like
Uh-huh.
I I don't believe in forcing anybody to do anything they don't want to do. All
Correct.
this boycotting and saying, Victoria's Secret needs to blah blah blah. No, they don't.
Right.
Go to Kelly's Closet. Kelly's
Yeah.
Closet has
As a plus size woman.
lingerie for plus
Yes.
size women. Go to Nina Sheree. Don't try to make people do what they don't want to do. It's
Right,
people that
right.
would love to serve you. Go to them. And I think we got to change our mindset around that.
And it's sad, but there's people that cater to the plus size industry, but you really want,
Hmm.
and I think they really people, and I, don't want to misspoke, but I think people are just fighting for that main stage. They want to bring the diverse, they want to bring the representation on that on that main stage, because as you, I see myself plus size black, see, a plus size black woman on the stage. So as I see someone there, I'm like, okay, it's an opportunity. It's great for me. But if I don't see myself after time after time after time, you would definitely want to fight for it. You definitely want to go for it, because yes, it's not to discredit anyone who's, making a space for plus size, but you want to be on the main stage so they can be photographed, so they can be pictures. So because again, but again, and I'm in a gray area with that, because you really have
Hmm.
to put yourself in a position where, okay, they don't give me a stage, well, I'll make my own lane. I'll go ahead and create something that has somebody there for me. But at the same time, I need for you guys to, quote unquote, as DeSantos, your governor, would say, be woke,
Why you gotta be my governor?
That is like literally, that is your governor. Clearly, it's
Yeah,
definitely not
yeah,
mine.
yeah, yeah.
I may own that area
Yes.
code, but he is not my governor. But be
Right.
woke, right? So you want to
Yeah.
push, because all bodies are great, despite all. And I think fighting for that, and it's sad for lack of word in fighting, is still that
Hmm.
we're still in 2023, where we still making something that should already been there. We should be elevating. We should be making layers. But here we're still just on the first stage, and we're still talking about bodies where all bodies are uniquely made. You know, so
Yeah.
as you creating these bodies, as you're taking pictures of plus size women, what is like the best thing that you like to do? Is it street, or is it model? Is it headshot? What is the artistic work that you bring out of the plus size model that you shoot with?
So I'm at a point now where I really want to create more of the things that you don't see with plus size models. So
Mm,
like I do some work with metallic body paint, and I'm
okay.
leaning into body, and I know, like, everybody, it's nude stuff is not everybody's cup of tea. I get it, but I
Right.
do believe that the body is a work of art,
Hmm.
and I want to move away from only showcasing what is deemed as perfect bodies. In
Right.
addition, I do like to create things that you don't normally see, like more movement and more things like fitness stuff. One thing I love to do that I haven't been able to do in a while is I do this levitation work where it looks like the
Okay.
person is floating in midair.
Oh
Well, I
wow.
like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
mind bending potential of doing that with a large body. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like somebody who,
Right.
because mentally you're going to be like, okay, that body shouldn't be able to move that way or look that way. I want to
Yeah.
create that.
Now you said that you use the metallic art, the metallic work, and it's, do some women push against being, being nude, as some women don't like to be in the nude, and as you want to create that artistic work in the plus size woman, do some women push away when you do want to express that more? Because I think, I definitely know when you're in the eye consistently, it starts to change the narrative, it starts to really give a different eye perspective where, oh, okay, plus size women can do this fantastic artwork. Do you see any woman who push back on that when you're trying to, push that door open?
Well, no, and only because I
Uh-huh.
don't make anybody do anything that they're uncomfortable
Correct.
with. Like
Correct.
basically it's an issue of, okay, you tell me what the parameters are, and then I create within that. So it's almost like if you say, listen, I want you to color, but you can only use red, blue, and yellow. Great.
Mhm.
I will do whatever I can do with those
Right.
colors. You know what I mean? Now, if you give me more crayons, I could do more,
Hmm.
but it's all good. So like I only do things like that with people that want to do things like that. I'm not a fan of trying to convince somebody to do something that they're uncomfortable, because you're going to see the discomfort.
Yeah, 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 definitely. Now, do you like more of the studio work or out street work when shooting plus size women?
Just in general, I've gotten older, and that doing stuff outside, that's not it.
Ah,
I need AC.
oh,
I I'll tell you a story.
Uh-huh.
I did a session, and I just didn't plan. I didn't think. I didn't eat
Yeah.
breakfast. I was
Uh-huh.
at the beach. I'm in Florida. It's
Uh-huh.
summertime at 11 a.m.
Wow.
and
Yeah.
I
Oh my
almost
goodness.
died. And I was like, dude, you are not 20 anymore. You can't do that anymore. So if I do work outside, I gotta
Uh-huh.
think and plan for it, you know?
Right, right, right. Because definitely, because I think I keep saying I think I know. Because me being, of course, a model, I'm I'm open for all, but definitely I am not for the heat. Everyone knows me. I'm not a fan of the heat. The heat is definitely
Mm,
my arch nemesis. So get thee
right.
behind heat. I will. I
Right.
definitely would take the cold any day. But I am definitely a fan who would go out early, only because it's
Right.
less where
Right.
you could do less editing, especially
True.
certain areas. And if you're trying to get that skyline, if you're trying to get that city life, or even I know even me, of course, traveling back in Florida and shooting at the beach, this is out, the sun was even out, and there was like literally plethora of people, and I said, oh my
That too.
goodness, are you kidding me? So
Yeah.
with me and my photographer trying to rearrange, move our bodies, so because I try my best to make sure that my photographers don't have to edit so much, because I like the picture
Hmm.
to be seamless, so I don't require to I try my best, let me say that, on my end, meaning that the
Yeah.
location, the time, making sure that we have the right background. But the beach was so saturated with people, and I was like, can you, I'm literally looking left and right. The water felt great, but this is like, I want to say 6:30, and the sun is just peaking.
Wow.
Like, which, because I was trying to catch the sunrise
Yeah.
at the beach, and
Right.
I mean there was plethora of people. So again, it just really those one of those Russian roulettes where you got to play with it. Because I am more of an outside individual. I
Okay.
like the scenery. I like the natural background if I can shoot. But I do like studio. But if I had to choose, I prefer outside because it's already set. It works accordingly, and you're able to utilize it. But I do understand as the weather, as time, as you get older, those stipulations starts to take place. Because I'm telling you,
Right.
I'm not a fan of heat, so I know exactly what you're talking about. Um, I I I rather take the cold. Give me the cold any day, because at least you can run in. You're not melting, and as a plus size model, you don't want to have to deal with that. Especially if it's just you and the photographer.
Sweating and
Oh my
right, right. You
god,
don't have a stylist to kind of, do this stuff. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it is a killer. Now, have you ever ran into an issue where you was when you were working with the model and things just didn't go right, even though you planned accordingly, it still did not go right? Because I know I have stories for days, but I know as a photographer on the looking through the lenses, and you're trying to really massage, or massage the thought, like, okay, let's just stay positive. Let's get this, let's just make it through. Things are not going right. Have you ever encountered those situations where a model just frustrated, something just didn't go right, but you still made magic? You still made
Yeah.
magic, but it was like, whoa, it was hard. It's like, okay, we going in. I know my analogy's off the wall, but you're going in for to have birth, but the doctor say, we about to have a C-section. But the birth
Yeah,
still
yeah.
turned out great.
Right. Right,
My
right,
analogies,
right.
people. I know.
No,
Go
you're
ahead.
good. You're good. Yeah. Well, specifically that session, because
Hmm.
I had to sit down. I had to sit
Right.
down and like for about 5 minutes, like I just couldn't work, and it was like, oh man. And the good thing is, once you know what you're doing, I think the great thing about just being an expert is
Uh
even
huh.
on a bad day, you're gonna
Yeah.
get good. So it's like you want great, you want phenomenal, but you can
Yeah.
still produce good, And it's like I'm glad that I'm at that point where it's like, okay, even if everything goes wrong, if my camera dies and I have to use my phone, it's like, well, okay, let's think this out. You know what I mean? Let's get it done, and let's think to edit, etc. So I think if anything, like I always tell people, just like I sing, and it's like if you practice a lot, You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like tons of times, like my number's 100. You practice a song
Right.
100 times, right? And get it right 100 times. Then, even with the stress of performing and things going wrong, if
Mm-hmm.
you've put your performance at 95% and you lose 15%, you're at 80%. But if
Right.
you haven't done the work and
Yeah.
you're at 45%, you don't have 15% to lose. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So
Now, as a professional photographer, you say that you had to use the phone. Do you find the phone to be your arch nemesis or your best friend? Because these phone companies are literally trying to line their phone up with with the cameras today. They could do almost just about. Granted, I'm not a professional photographer. I am when I am sleeping, but when I am woke,
right.
I am an amateur. So I don't want to proclaim that, but I do think that I think, and again, I'm gonna use the word think because I don't know for sure, but
Mhm.
they're like simultaneously can work together. They can do the work. So as a professional photographer, do you find the phone to be your best friend or your arch nemesis?
Okay, so I'm not a purist, where I say, oh, only a professional camera can get the
Yeah.
job done. A camera is a camera if you know what you're doing. In most cases, I can give you my camera and I can take your phone and I can get better imagery than you because I know what
Mm,
to do with a camera. Doesn't matter what it
right.
is. Now, if I got to pick, I want my DSLR, but
Right.
if I only have my cell phone camera, I'm confident that I
Hmm.
can get something.
Right.
I even, funny thing, like as far, you got to name your phone. And so when you log into the Bluetooth in your car, the name of my
Yeah.
phone is Second String Camera because that's why I bought it. I bought it
Right.
so I don't have to take my work camera out when I'm with my family. I can say, you know what? I can trust this phone to kind of capture the moments.
Oh wow. Now I know that it just believe it just to me it's like why get a camera, right? But again, I'm an amateur, you're a professional. I just say why get it, but I do understand it. I'm working towards finding the best camera. Now if somebody were trying to start photography, looking into photography, what suggestion do you have for them, or what beginner's camera will you suggest for them so they can start their career as they start to move without being, keeping it inexpensive?
Okay. I would say so. First, any consumer grade camera will get you pretty much where you need to go. The trick is one, when you get the camera, read the manual, cover to cover.
Mm,
Two, most of the time, if you go to YouTube and you type in the name of the camera and type in
right.
walkthrough, there are a whole bunch of people that tell you every little thing that camera can do.
Uh-huh.
That's a great place to start.
Wow. Because I am definitely a fan of the YouTube. I am definitely fan. Find out how does this work? How do we get there? I
YouTube
just got
University.
that's my degree. I got it for cheap, literally. Didn't have to pay a dime
Yes,
besides every
ma'am.
month when I got to pay the internet bill. But I know
Right.
definitely as you start, taking pictures, like what is your best I mean, okay, before I answer that question, I want to go back.
Yeah.
And being in Orlando, do you all have any fashion shows that cater to plus size where you're able to showcase pictures of, plus size women more when outside and beside being inside the studio?
Okay, so the show that I went to was when I was living in Orlando, but I actually now I live in South Florida, and I believe there's
Hmm.
a bit of a bigger following, or
Okay.
audience for plus size work. And I just listen again with that whole getting old thing. I got to get out of the house more and connect, and that's kind of my goal this year to make sure I get out and connect with people
Yeah.
that are doing these things.
Yeah. Have you ever decided putting on your own show, like gathering photographers for plus size models, bringing, just keeping it to the forefront? Because I think people like plus size models are the bombs, hands down. I'm just
Yeah,
saying in general, hands down. But
agreed.
I guess to constantly make the lane and make the lane, glorified and pop, you will have to do some things to really put it out there. So have you and or your team have like wanted to do like a plus size fashion show where it could be, part of the continuance of showing that plus size women are great, they can be photographed, they
Mhm.
are great models.
Show, no, but I do want to do like large scale photo shoots where I'm kind of building a community where photographers
Mm-hmm.
who like working with plus size people will
Yeah.
come there, and then plus size people can feel comfortable coming because they know every photographer here wants to work with me and knows how to work with me. So that's something that I've been working on. Like I was kind of waylaid a little bit, like we all were, during the
Uh-huh.
pandemic, but that's something I've been working on, really just kind of building a community of creatives that work together and do these types of things.
Oh, okay. So now, what fashion show have you been to lately in South Florida? Give it up for South Florida. Everybody know, no shade, but South Florida's the bomb. Yes, I just want to make sure. South
It
Florida,
is.
yes.
It
Get a
is.
team. That's what I'm talking about. See, that's the great team, South Florida.
Indeed. The last
Yes.
thing I went to, because it's something that I'm trying to learn to bring to the curvy community, is there's um an artist. He has something called the Black Tape Project, and
Okay.
he basically makes swimwear, and it's artistic. It's not something that you could actually, but he makes it out of tape, and he uses black tape, white tape, and a lot of this kind of iridescent color changing type tape, and he
Okay.
makes the shape, and he, by his choice, he doesn't work with,
Mm-hmm.
plus size women, and I'm like,
Mm.
that's something that I can do because it doesn't exist yet. I probably shouldn't say it out loud because I don't want anybody to jump over me and do it. But that's something
Right.
I want to do this year for sure.
I promise you. They first of all, they have to find the remedy. They get started. So you're already at leaps and bounds ahead of them. So don't even worry about that part. Now, have your
Okay,
work
okay.
have your plus size models have been published in any magazines?
The some of the work that I did with Nina is in Vogue.
Oh
I want to say
wow.
Vogue
Okay.
Italy. Vogue Italy. Yeah, and there's a
Okay.
two publications, two international publications that they were in. Yeah,
Oh wow, that's phenomenal. So do you
yeah.
still by you working with, you said Nina Sheree, if I'm not
Nina
mistaken?
Sheree. Yeah.
Nita Sheree. Okay. Now do you help out with like with her website, or do you all continue, just try to express, because you guys are in a state where it's beach 365, you know,
Right. Yeah, yeah,
like
we
here
have
in
a
Miami.
relationship, and exactly. Yeah, we do things together, and I actually do. I have a connection with Kelly's Closet, so I work with her when she needs me, So,
Yeah.
and then that's
Kelly's
that's
Closet is
something.
definitely good.
Yeah, and that's something that I'm really trying to, like. I like working with models and individuals, and I want to work with more plus size brands because a lot of times I'll see the things that they put out, and it's like, well,
Hmm.
sometimes you can sell with whatever you throw up, but it's like, hey,
Yeah.
we can do better. Let's get together so I can actually get you some solid imagery. I want to do more of that.
Okay. Have you decided where you can travel to meet other photographers? Because I know up in the northern area, there are a lot of plus size fashion shows.
I've
They do
heard
cater to
that.
plus size, and they definitely work with plus size where it's endless up here. It's definitely where women are able to do fashion shows. They have, of course, print model, fashion models, and of course, not to say there's a lot of influencers that's located up in the north. So I know quite a few photographers who do shoot plus size women. Have you thought about traveling,
I
meeting other photographers who
I got
cater
to
to
get out
plus
of the
size
house.
women? I know.
That's my issue. I don't get out. So yes, yes, I hear you
Yeah,
loud
you
and
got to get
clear.
out the house
I
to
got.
say
Yeah, I'm a
yes.
homebody. I'm a homebody, but I got to get past
Right.
that.
Definitely. So if anybody listen to Michae, definitely need to get him out the house. I know,
Right.
stunning photographer, but I know once you start to travel and go up north, you definitely will see there's quite a few photographers who do cater to plus size women, who do bring out the artistic work and not quote unquote the fantasize, making the
Yeah.
plus size body, worth looking, and not just the body, but the clothing, the material, just bringing out the work of the young lady or young man, so that it's not looking sexual. So
Yeah.
Michelle, this has been a great conversation. Is there anything that you would like to leave with the people, any affirmation or quote? Because definitely we need more photographers like you who are needed for the plus size community.
Indeed. I actually made a reel the other day, and I think this is
Uh-huh.
really kind of ringing in my spirit. If you are a curvy or a plus model and you're looking for a photographer to work with, and you look at that portfolio and you're not reflected in that portfolio, do not work with them. So
Ditto,
don't
I
beg
agree.
anybody, yeah, to kind of to create what you want, but look for people that are looking for you.
I totally agree because for one, if you're not represented it, why should I be able to work with you? How can you understand my body? How can you understand, taking pictures? Because again, I'm not looking for
Exactly.
anybody that just point and shoot. I want someone who's going
Mm-mm.
to be able to bring out the work in me as because again, I know I can do it, but I want someone who's catered to that as far as plus size, whatever niche you have. But again, if you're not represented in that stream, it's definitely a no-go, definitely XYZ. So I totally
You
agree.
want
So
somebody you
and
can trust. You want someone that you
oh,
can
correct.
trust. Yeah.
Yes, 100%, definitely. So, as always, thank you so much, Michelle. I'm so grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being on the show with Coffee with Joy. As you all know, make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, and let us know what photography you would like for Michelle to shoot, and hopefully get him out the house. Hopefully, that will be like 8 in the morning.
Right. Exactly.
Something like
Exactly.
But as always, make sure that you like, comment, and share. As you all know, if it's Wednesday, it's Coffee with Joy. Until then, I'll be talking to you all later. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.